Alright, guys, today we're gonna be seeing IGNs, best Star Wars movie from all time, from worst to best. So, from what it looks like, is The Rise of Skywalker is the worst, which I 100% disagree. It's The Last Jedi. The Rise of Skywalker was actually really good sequels. It was the second best sequel movie. The Rise of Skywalker I would have ranked higher, but this is their opinion. After 4 decades and 8 episodes, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is supposed to bring the Skywalker Saga to a satisfying conclusion, but instead of going out with a bang, and end with something more akin to the noise the Starlight Pit made after eating a bounty hunter. Simply put, the film just doesn't work. It's full of unearned moments, inconsequential characters, and plot twists that hurt your head the more you think about them. And don't get started on Chewie's death fake out. But hey, at least Babu Frick... Yeah, at least Bobo Frick. Yet, what truly makes Episode 9 a difficult watch is its lack of commitment to the events of The Last Jedi, and so we watch as the plot bends over backwards to rewrite Star Wars lore, rather than building off what came to deliver fans a more fitting conclusion. Okay, yeah, I could see where they're coming from. The Rise of Skywalker wasn't the best movie, but I wouldn't rank it number 11. And then they said they were going to include the Clone Wars movie, and I don't see it. Like, there's 12 Star Wars movies, but they're having 11. They're doing live actions. Star Wars Attack of the Clones. That's I disagree. I completely disagree. Wholeheartedly, the Attack of the Clones is underrated. It is like the third best Star Wars movie in my opinion, but let's see. They're like ranking this off of like the critics who hate these movies. While Star Wars Attack of the Clones may be an exciting title, it's one of the most boring movies in the franchise. Phantom Menace is the most boring one. That's boring in the franchise. Even with its redeeming qualities, watching Obi-Wan Kenobi play Jedi detective as he investigates the Separatist movement and the enigmatic Count Dooku is a highlight of the film. Not to mention some amazing action sequences, including the chase through Coruscant, the Jedi/bounty hunter battle on Kamino, and a truly wizard duel featuring the frog-hopping Master Yoda. And that's all they got to say about it. Like, they said this is bad. But the film... Okay, that's what they got more. But the film is otherwise bogged down by uneven pacing, wooden dialogue, and dramatic moments that wind up being unintentionally funny. There's no better example of all of this than Anakin and Padme's snooze fest of a romance. What are they saying? I disagree. The romance scenes weren't so bad. Like, people are so, like... I don't know, hurtful, about these movies. Like... They can't, give any, help. The sequels, yeah, there's nothing you could do, but I don't understand that. What was supposed to be a love worth sacrificing the galaxy for, and instead ends up making us want to stick our heads in the sand. In the end, Episode 2 is more fondly remembered for the things set up in the greater Star Wars canon, looking at you, Clone Wars, and for how good of a movie it is on its own merits. Okay, I could see the fact that the wooden dialogue, all the prequels did. But the Count Dooku was a great character. Anakin and Padme were good characters. All the characters in there were good. The Phantom Menace's characters were so bad. The only reason I wouldn't rank it below The Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi, is because Liam Neeson was in the movie and Qui-Gon Jinn is a good character. But otherwise, the fact that Attack of the Clones really saved the franchise, because if this movie didn't come out, then people would have not. If this movie was bad, like The Phantom Menace, people would have given up on Star Wars and wouldn't have seen Revenge of the Sith and wouldn't have been able to say it was the best prequel. This set up the Clone Wars, and its own merits, it was such a sick movie. I loved Count Dooku. They introduced new characters, and I loved the fact that we saw more. And we figured out that freaking Dooku was Qui-Gon's master, but turned because he didn't like the Jedi, which made complete sense. I love that movie was great. I don't understand it. Number 9, Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace was bad. Oh, while we always love Star Wars, The Phantom Menace for bringing back Star Wars back to the masses in 1999 and introducing a whole new generation to a galaxy far, far away. That doesn't mean it's as strong as a trilogy starter as A New Hope or The Force. What? The Force Awakens is the exact same movie as A New Hope, and I'll explain that in another video, but yes, it's the exact same movie. Don't get us wrong, the film gets credit for introducing franchise staples such as the Jedi Order and the city planet of Coruscant, while continuing the series' tradition of peerless visual effects and music. Who doesn't love the pod race and the Duel of the Fates? The pod race was... But the praise builds up faster than a closing Naboo Palace security door. Okay. So you are When you start to consider the dual political plot, donkey storytelling, yes, this is all true so far. And a cast full of ill-conceived characters from the cringy antics of Jar Jar Binks. I hated Jar Jar Binks. He wasn't bad. He was funny, but he was just too. It got old after like closer towards the middle of the movie. To the over-the-top enthusiasm of a two young Anakin Skywalker, not to mention the overstuffed third act that struggles to juggle 4 different conflicts. This one never seems to go long without taking yet another misstep. Okay. I hate the fact that they're making fun of Jake Lloyd's Anakin Skywalker. Jake Lloyd did a really great job for what he got. I mean, The Phantom Menace was not a great script. The storyline was really bad. I just didn't like it though. Yes, I agree like this, but this would be more. I think it would. I feel like it wasn't as bad as people say, but like I hated the pod race scene. The scene I just didn't like it. I thought it was kind of boring. But like what they said so far about the Phantom Menace was true. But number 9, I would put it number 8. I would swap. Solo would be is number 10. Solo. While Rogue One gave fans hope for the Star Wars story subtitle, the anthology angle would be swiftly shelved by Lucasfilm after the poor reception to its second entry, simply titled Solo, where its predecessor made the wise choice to focus more on new characters while allowing for cameos on franchise favorites. Solo took the opposite route, casting Alden Ehrenreich. I don't know how to say that. His last name, Ehrenreich. I don't know if I'm saying that. I'm sorry. As one of the series' most beloved protagonists, Han Solo, asking audiences to buy in. Spoiler: they did not. Drawing loose inspiration from the A.C. Crispin novels of the Legends era, Ehrenreich's earnest takes on the galaxy's scruffiest nerf herder wasn't bad, but between the uninspired plot and the ho-hum stakes, the movie was as a whole definitely had room for improvement. Ultimately, Solo felt like it was trying to answer a lot of questions that nobody asked, and as the ones that had been were probably better left unanswered anyways. As with all the Star Wars movies, there were things to enjoy about it. If you have to recast Lando Calrissian, putting Donald Glover under the cape is an inspired choice, and the levitating train heist is a good time, but ultimately Solo proves to be one and done kind of a Star Wars story. I agree. I thought the movie was really slow, and that's why I haven't rewatched it, and that's why a lot of these movies I don't rewatch. Like I don't want to rewatch The Phantom Menace. It was way too slow. All right. What? Dude. Okay.
That's not even funny.
Dude, what? That's not funny.
That's probably like number 2.
Dude, that's number 2, right? That's completely right. You were right, dude. That's my point. That's number 2. They put it so low. I have to like take a screenshot of this and show this to like my friends and everything who love this movie, who freaking rank this. This was hold on. Dude, this is not even mine, dude. Like, what is this? Like, IGN? What the heck? Alright, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith retains many of the hallmark flaws of the prequels. Goofy dialogue. Huh? Pacing issues? No. An over-reliance on CGI? Yes, because CGI, you need to rely on it because there's things you can't put in, and that's fine. So many movies, studios are filled with blue screen and green screens everywhere because there's parts you need. And CGI is important, especially for the characters that you can't dress as costumes because it's like there's too much like parts that look unrealistic that you have to use with CGI. But it does find far more success in making the audience feel something. The execution of Order 66 brings real dramatic weight to the conclusion of the Clone Wars as we see firsthand a tragedy that changed the fate of the galaxy forever. Watching poor Master Yoda clutch his little frog heart gets us every time. Why are they calling him a little frog? Nobody knows who he is, and he's not a frog. Even though Episode 3 has some undeniable strengths, it's frequently undetermined by its weaknesses. Anakin's downfall doesn't feel as convincing as it should. It is convincing. I think it's true. Largely thanks to the muted romance with Padme. Yes, it's the point. These people don't even understand this. They're just freaking looking at the critics and criticizing every little detail. Look at the other details. Read the Revenge of the Sith book. These people don't understand. Jedi Order's late discovery of Palpatine's treachery. If you would listen to Palpatine, knows how to hide his Sith. Like they were so caught up in politics that they were freaking, and they let him rise up. That's their fault. right? Which is so blatantly obvious, make them look incompetent at the worst time. And while Ewan McGregor sells Obi-Wan's devastating heartbreak during his fiery duel with Anakin, one great performance isn't quite enough to wash out the taste of the others. Still, Revenge of the Sith is the strongest of the prequel trilogy, in large part thanks to his many memorable moments, and we have to credit it for that. Wow. I disagree completely. All the actors were so great. Ian McDiarmid, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Natalie Portman, all the characters in this movie were so great. Like, come on, you agree with me, Eamon?
Yeah.
Like, dude, Hayden Christensen, I'll admit, he wasn't the best in Attack of the Clones, but this is what George wanted. He wanted Hayden Christensen. If you watched, have you seen the behind the scenes part where he said he wanted somebody boyish, he wanted somebody to play a part and understand the character better. Most characters will come in, they have good acting skills, but he needs somebody, like, he's a director that, he's one of those people who has to control what they do. Like, he has to tell them how this people would do, how these people would react, how these people act, and how these emotions. That's why, and so, like, I wholeheartedly disagree that this is number 7. You are dumb. The Force Awakens was actually not bad. I agree. Alright. Okay. Star Wars The Force Awakens was Disney's first attempt to rekindle the magic of the original trilogy, and it did. It's the same thing, but perhaps a little too much. The Force Awakens is often criticized for a plot that borrows too heavily from A New Hope. True. And while that may be true, the film uses those familiar elements, a chosen one from a desert planet, an army of space fascists, a planet that is also a big laser cannon as a foundation to build something new. While it does introduce new planets, new aliens, and new lightsaber designs, Episode 7's new characters are its greatest contribution to the series. Its heroes Rey, Finn, Poe, and BB-8 give the film much of its charm in the dark and mysterious relationship between Kylo Ren and the Supreme Leader Snoke that gives it its menace. While you can nitpick the particulars of the plot, the film ultimately achieved its goal. It made Star Wars fun and exciting again. You just said why I would rank this way lower. I would rank this number 7. Because you know why? This movie, look at it, listen. Like you said, it's literally A New Hope, but different characters. You know who's Luke in that movie? Rey. She lives on a desert planet called Jakku. You know who's the freaking... You know who's Rey is the Luke in this movie because she's longing for something she needs. She needs something new, right? Finn was that character was I don't even know whose character. He was just a good character. He was his own. He was completely original, and I feel so bad for John Boyega for the treatment he got after this movie. Like, there's so many racist people out there, and they criticized it for him being the main character. Like, I don't care. The story was it was a good story. Okay, Poe was literally Han Solo. He was literally that pilot that loves everything. BB-8 was a good character. I'd say he was more annoying. I like The Force Awakens is the best in the sequels, but they're just saying that this literally was better than A New Hope. To me, it's like they're saying that it's like a new. They're literally like this sentence right here. The Force Awakens is often criticized for a plot that borrows too heavily from A New Hope. Like I said, these are the exact same movies. If you've watched A New Hope and you've watched The Force Awakens, you would know they're the exact same movies. Okay? It starts with a person on a desert planet. Does it start with a person on a desert planet? It starts with the person inside with the stormtroopers, taking over with somebody getting, trapped, right? They have to go save her. That was Poe. Poe was Leia in that. She gets captured, and guess what happens? And then they go, and then we meet Rey, basically Luke, who meets Poe, and they go back to Jakku to meet the droid, where he realizes that they're there after Poe gets captured. And after Poe gets captured, they go to the inside the what is it called, the Starkiller base to break him out of that. That's literally the same movie. Like, I don't like this so far. What is your favorite Star Wars movie? Attack of the Clones. Answer. Yeah, I know. Wait, 1.6%? That's more than I thought. 2.7? No, that's lower. Phantom Menace was so bad. The CGI did not age well. Attack of the Clones had a way better plot. It makes up. Like, literally. Like, what is Rogue One doing there? Like, dude. Okay, Solo. My my friend really likes this movie. Like, he really liked it. He said it didn't deserve the hate, and I disagree with some parts about that. Like, there's some, it's like, it was really slow and boring, and something needs to be, it's more fast paced. What is Rogue One doing? That movie, I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but I know Rogue One was not that good. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, proves that stories in the Star Wars universe doesn't need to revolve around the Jedi Order or Skywalker family drama to be a hit. Jyn Erso and her ragtag group of unlikely rebels made a strong impression on the audience before meeting a noble end, and their theft of the original Death Star plans was not only an engaging adventure, but from start to finish, but a strong shift in tone for the franchise, one that really put the spore in Star Wars. However, even if you didn't know that the film had quite a lot of behind-the-scenes creative issues, you probably noticed them. I don't understand that sentence. Okay. The story has several dead ends and contradictions, none more egregious than the plotline involving Saw Gerrera. What is his role in the movie supposed to be exactly? Yet, despite these obvious flaws, Rogue One comes together in the end, delivering one of the best third act battles in a franchise, full of absolutely amazing third act battles. Darth Vader has never been more, I'm not saying that word, than in those final moments, even if it does muddy the waters of the opening to a New Hope if you think about it for more than a second. No, it makes sense. He has to make it out. That's why when it opens up, they're on their ship, and Darth Vader comes in. How does that make sense, right? They escaped after that, so they have to start chasing them down, right? That makes complete sense. Like, it completely, it's like a second after Rogue One ends, a New Hope starts. Okay, Last Jedi is way too high. What is it doing on number 4? Okay, this is stupid. Okay, Rian Johnson is the worst writer. I freaking hate the man. He says the best movie is when half of the people like this movie and half the people hate it. Guess what? You got less than half, buddy. You got less than half people liked it. 64%. Okay, actually no. 68% people hated that movie. 42% people did like it. As Star Wars The Last Jedi's sole credited writer and director, cinematic distinction shared only by George Lucas, Rian Johnson put an authorial stamp on the galaxy far, far away that few in the Star Wars world would ever get to attempt, and the result was the best and most hotly debated Star Wars film since the original trilogy. The way Johnson moved the pieces J.J. Abrams set in play challenged many pillars in the mythology, the chosen one archetype, Luke's heroic reputation. Dude, they ruined Luke's character. Luke was such a freaking wuss. He was so annoying. I hated when I rewatched that movie, and I rewatched the sequels. I hated Luke. Luke was just so freaking bad. Somebody in my comments one time told me to rewatch this movie. I did, because I'm like, maybe they're right. Maybe The Last Jedi wasn't so bad, from what I remember. Nope, he was wrong. Like, look, the clear delineation of dark and light, suffers from a meandering espionage subplot and a ticking clock dilemma that could be solved with a little bit of communication. The Last Jedi also boasts dazzling action sequences and an especially rich and emotional storyline between Luke Skywalker, Rey, and Kylo Ren. She doesn't even know who Luke Skywalker is. Like, she met him. She just looks at him and just, like, expects him to take his lightsaber and go freaking fight the First Order by himself. Like, he knows. That's why when I watched it, I agreed with some parts of Luke, but I also disagreed. Like, Jedis don't give up. Like, Mark Hamill hates this movie. Daisy Ridley hates this movie. Like, everybody hates this movie. Every actor that was in it hated this movie. But they don't say that because that would, like, honestly just ruin their thing as an actor. But everybody hates this movie. I swear, I wouldn't be surprised if Rian Johnson hated this movie. More than anything, The Last Jedi is admirable in its unwavering enthusiasm for Star Wars potential, with the theme of moving on from the past at the heart of everything it does. The film wraps up with the peace and purpose that few other films in the series find, echoing the lately redeemed Luke Skywalker. He didn't redeem himself. He was still scared to go there. Obviously, I honestly think he would have snuck on like he did and ended up on the Death Star, instead of just walking out just to look at them and just get blasted. Like, he would have done something. Like, he would have literally ran. He would have used force speed or something. Aaron Aries, it's like lately redeemed Luke Skywalker seeing the binary sunset on his isolated youth in his final moments. A nameless womp rat of a kid on Cantonica raises a defiant broom. Yes, broom. To a galaxy which he feels empowered to be a part of, whether or not he has a famous last name. The people who are writing this just must hate Star Wars fans. Like, what is Return of the Jedi doing?
That possibly has to be 1 for me.
Return of the Jedi is your number one. I feel like it's back and forth between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi I loved them when Darth Vader redeemed himself, became Anakin Skywalker, killed the Emperor to save his son. Like that's like nobody's gonna forgive him, right? But they can they might not forgive him even if he survived. His daughter's gonna hate him. Obviously, everybody knows that. It's in legends that she hates him when he tries to seek forgiveness out of her. I don't know what Anakin was doing. Now it's kind of dumb. I mean, okay, let's read this. This is back and forth, but I put this on like number 4 for ranking my Star Wars movies. It was like number 4, it said, because it was after leaving fans on a big cliffhanger in Episode 5. Star Wars Return of the Jedi had to deliver both a satisfying follow-up and a fitting ending for our beloved heroes and villains, and that's exactly what it did. There's a self-contained rescue mission where 2 robots and a wizard go to a crime lord's palace and try to steal a piece of wall art that just so happens to be a certain scoundrel trapped in it. There's the exhilarating speeder bike chase through a dense and deadly forest, and sure there are questionable bits. The revelation that Luke and Leia are siblings, even though they smooched before. Yeah, I'm like, that's incest. That's bad. That's weird. I'm glad Luke said something. I'm so, Obi-Wan is such a weirdo. Like, they said that it would keep them safe. Dude, they've made out, and you could see in that from Force Ghost after you've died, that they've made out. Like, that's so weird. And if I was Obi-Wan in that movie, I'd have appeared out of nowhere, and Luke would have been like, Ben, and I was like, dude, she's your sister, don't do that. And then be, so confused. And be like, I'm telling the truth. Your father is Darth Vader, which would have scared him a little bit. I'm like, huh? Instead of, and stuff like that. And the gigantic space battle and destruction of yet another ball-shaped superweapon. And there's the Ewoks, who may have been shoehorned in to appeal to kids. Oh my god, I love the Ewoks, but that's not true. The Ewoks were important. I feel like the point of them was George Lucas, and if this is true, this is a theory I have, to say that no matter how tall or short you are, you can be really powerful. Like, they didn't expect them. They didn't expect any of these Ewoks to appear out of nowhere and just beat them up. Like, literally, that's what they did. But in the end, kind of win you over because they are an adorable on the surface, but an ultimately murderous gang of tree bears who play drums on the skulls of their enemies. That's funny. It culminates in one of the best and most crucial lightsaber fights in the series. There's so much emotion behind that duel. It's like, it may not have the best choreography, but this was like there was no CGI yet. Like, the CGI wasn't created until I feel like the early 90s. Like the 90s, right? I feel like that's what it was. It was like 90s. I swear, somebody commented on my video because I kept saying CGI for the Star Trek movie that I ranked, but like it's because I never knew anything. I never knew that I kept forgetting CGI. I didn't know it was. But between father and son, and overseen by a seething emperor trying to tear them apart, even though it's he who unites them. Yeah, it's campy, but underneath it all are some serious conflicts and ultimately bittersweet goodbyes to some of the most iconic characters in movie history. Okay, New Hope is not that high, I'd say. Okay. Alright, engrossing, it's a good movie, it's a classic, but it's not that high. I would put that like number 5, I think I put it at. I don't remember. Dude, 3 is, for me, is Attack of the Clones. I love that movie. If you want to see my video, it's my favorite. The best Star Wars movie is Empire Strikes Back. People think that because I like these movies, it's going to be my favorite, but people don't understand that favorites and best are different. Like, the best Star Wars movie is Empire Strikes Back, no doubt about that, but just because some people hate this, movie, does not mean you can't like it. It's like, it makes no sense. Alright, let's read this. Engrossing, moving, endlessly rewatchable, Star Wars A New Hope. Okay, number 2 is Revenge of the Sith. Is one that started it all. Set in a galaxy where the evil empire has already won and the heroic Jedi Knights are only a memory. George Lucas started building his grand sci-fi saga from the middle out. The hermit Ben Kenobi wistfully recalls the days of the Clone Wars to farm away Luke Skywalker, to be mosey in civility of blasters in comparison to the more elegant lightsaber. Gave the world of the story a lived-in feel, and the seemingly inescapable grip the Empire casts an air of despair over A New Hope. It wasn't called A New Hope when it came out. It was called just Star Wars, because that was going to be the only Star Wars movie. one personified by the villain and all villains, Darth Vader. A New Hope blends elements of sci-fi, fantasy, western, samurai, and war films. Yes, that's what he based the original trilogy on, was the Vietnam Wars, and the samurai was what they based Darth Vader's helmets and armor on. Western, I don't think so. With pioneering visual effects, that's right, because they used natural stuff. Like they used stuff they have, like lights. They use reflective tape with a light that bounces off, so you could see it. So that's why it was that laid the groundwork for blockbusters as we know them today. It's as much a visual achievement as it is a narrative one, and brought together with John Williams' legendary score. Episode 4 is one of the best films ever made, yet it's only number 2 on this list. That's right, there's another. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Yes, this is the best. Even people loved Star Wars, the first Star Wars, but when Empire Strikes Back came out, people said this was the best in the trilogy. And after Return of the Jedi, a lot of people still said Empire was still better. And like it gives you like you were so confused with the plot twist of Darth Vader being in and Luke's father. Like people were like that. I've seen people talk about it before. That's true. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back remains the gold standard of Star Wars movies, with A New Hope having planted the seeds for the franchise. Empire blossoms in thrilling and surprisingly dark fashion as a relentless Darth Vader hunts the heroes of the Rebel Alliance. Were treated to Han and Leia's screwball romance. Oh my god, it was obvious in Empire Strikes Back that Leia liked her, but it's obvious there too. It's just less obvious. As well as Luke's training under the out of his mind. Just kidding. The Jedi Master Yoda, come on. No, that's not funny. Yeah, he was out of his mind, but he was away for a while. Like, he was out. Like, he's never seen people for a while. Like, he doesn't know how to act in front of people of what the Force is. Not just a telekinetic push or trick of the mind, but a spiritual power that connects all life. Episode 5 expands the Star Wars universe in numerous ways. New planets, new aliens, Imperial walkers, bounty hunters, all the while telling an exciting, multi-layered story. The stakes of that story doesn't hinge on a planet-destroying weapon or the fate of the galaxy, but on more personal conflicts, like how much its characters are willing to sacrifice for the greater good, or being called to task they may not be prepared for. That latter point is sorted out in a tense, drawn-out lightsaber duel through the bowels of Cloud City, resulting in a 1-2 punch of a dismemberment and revelation that still ranks among the most memorable cinematic moments of all time. Star Wars just doesn't get better than this, which is why it's one of the best Harrison Ford movies. Do you agree? No. Or do you have a bad feeling about this ranking? Let us know how you would rank them in the comments. What comments, dude? Is this a YouTube video? Okay, listen. I have a lot of feelings about this entire thing. I agree with Empire being number 1. But number 2, number 7, I am so upset the fact they put in Revenge of the Sith there. By itself, it was such a sick movie. You have to understand, which is why reading the books is super important. Reading the Revenge of the Sith novel is important. You get to know more about the character's mindset, and like everything. I'm not even halfway in between Revenge of the Sith, and I know more about Obi-Wan than I thought I ever would, and how he always felt like a Padawan because that's what he was. He was the weakest Jedi in the Order. His Force was weak. A lot of people don't know that, but his midi-chlorian count was the lowest out of all Jedis. Right? That's why he would listen and just keep practicing more than he had done before, just to get the move. That's why he got the rank of Master, because he was a good Jedi. He would listen to people's advice and try and use it. But IGN has so many problems. Like, this is like saying, like, they put Attack of the Clones way too low. But they put it above the Phantom Menace, no less. The Phantom Menace. Do you agree with Phantom Menace being above Attack of the Clones? Dude. No, like, obviously. Okay, if you watched it, like, I tried rewatching it, but, like, it's just so hard. Like, the dialogue was just bad.
What about Qui-Gon Jinn stuff?
Qui-Gon Jinn was a good character, but, like, just can't rewatch that prequel. It's like saying, like, all the prequels were good. They all had their pros and cons, but that's saying, it's like me being like, I'm just an Attack of the Clones lover. I love Anakin, I love Padme, I love Obi-Wan, I love all the characters in Star Wars. All these characters are good, except for Rey. Because I heard that they had no plan for any of these sequels. They just figured it out as they go along. I heard that. Like, even the director said it, like actors said, like, they never knew what they were doing. Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, never knew if she was a Kenobi, a Skywalker, a Palpatine. She never knew who she was. Like, they just automatically, and when she was filming it, she said, "Yeah, you're a Palpatine, and that's what we're doing." And like they didn't like, dude, they didn't even try to make it make sense. I'm sorry, but like that movie had like the sequels had their problems with the writing. It's like it's like Disney hates us, all the Stars fans. Like they're just trying to get money. Like that's all they care about. All they care about is money. Like dude, like they're trying to figure out which projects is gonna make them the most money. That's why they canceled the Afterlife, because they saw how it failed. Nobody watched it. That was the problem. That's why it was so low in the ratings. Was just fans. Like nobody watched it. People who did, I'm gonna watch it because I haven't watched it. I have no opinions. I'm not gonna say anything about it. I can watch these things and people say things about this, but I haven't watched it, so it's unfair for me to rank. It's unfair for me to rank Cal Kestis because I haven't played Jedi Survivor because I don't have it in Series X. But like, all right, number two. Okay, let me put mine. Okay, number one, Empire Strikes Back. Number two, all right, because this is right. Okay, number two, Revenge of the Sith. Okay, number three, which would not be Return of the Jedi, would be, Attack of the Clones. And then, why is Last Jedi so high? Like, why is it number four? Number four is Return of the Jedi. Alright, number five was, I think, was A New Hope. And then number six was, right, Force Awakens. Number seven was not Revenge of the Sith, but was, I think I put, The Phantom Menace at number seven. Okay, number 8, Solo was number 9, so number 8 was Rogue One. Number 9 was not The Phantom Menace. Number 9 was Solo, and number 10 was not Attack of the Clones. Number 10 was The Phantom Menace. Number 11 was The Last Jedi. I don't know why I put The Phantom Menace. I feel like I put like I don't think that's my, but like. They had this list is just them trying to appeal to all sorts of fans, like, but they are not. Like, they really made me up. They make 0 sense. Why is Attack of the Clones so low? Why is all the prequels so low? Like, I get you're just trying to make Disney fans happy, but like, Disney's Star Wars sequels won't age. They won't. It's not a good trilogy. It wasn't the good trilogy. I get it. When the movies came out, when they hated it because it's like the dialogue was bad. But so was the original trilogy. It didn't have good dialogue. All the dialogue was hard for the actors, and all shows have hard dialogue for people to say. It's all hard. Shows like The Big Bang Theory, all that dialogue that Jim Parsons has to do. It took him multiple takes to get it right, because Sheldon's such a fast speaker. He has to speak so fast. And it's like, chill out, dude. Right? 11 is not this. I don't know why. They said they were putting... Yeah, okay. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was a long video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next piece.